And welcome back to part 8 of Tomb Raider 2013, where today we will be working our way through the shantytown to try and work our way towards that shrine big base building that Sam is being kept in. Along with everyone else, I want to add. That, that was so haphazardly just dropped on us without really much drama or extra context. It was just, oh, everyone else is there too. Okay. Oh sweet, another shotgun part already. See what I mean? Like, I know I mentioned it last part, but we've kind of gone from having no parts to just getting them every 2 seconds. Because that's what I mean why I feel like it's random. Fucking... I mean, come on! Isn't that like the 4th rifle piece we've got in like 2 parts? And like the other 3 were literally only like in the last 10 minutes, the last part. Like, come on. But the shantytown... The issue of the shantytown, and I say issue, the shantytown's pretty my favourite area in this game because of how much like freedom of movement you have to get around. Because of all the rooftops and how low everything is and how flat everything is, you can get wherever you want, whenever you want really in here. And it makes it pretty fun for free-flowing and movement. Like, finding creative ways of getting around is something I'll always appreciate, and this game does it really well. This area does it really well. The reason why I say problem, is I'm trying to yank this guy off an edge because I need to work for a trophy, is getting the collectibles. There are like 3, I want to say, prime areas in this game. We've already been through one. It was that big area where we entered it having to get supplies for Roth because of his injured leg. We had to go into the wolf den. There was the waterfalls. There was the statues that we could set their hands on fire for a collectible challenge. And we returned to it several times. Any big area that you return to several times is what I count to as like a main area, like a hub almost. Even if it's enemy infested. This is our second one. The first one I said was that big like area with all the stuff we had to do for Roth and the two different challenge collectibles, because there's one for collecting eggs as well. This is our second, which also has 2 environmental collectibles, but it's eluding me right now what they are, so I'm just gonna worry about them later. And then there's one more one. But the thing is, because there's 3 distinct key areas that you return to, when you move on to the next one is when you're done with the previous one kind of thing. Like, it is almost designed as 3 hubs that you'll return to regularly. They have a central camp that's definitely safe in a safe area with lots of supplies. They might have a few minor dangers around the skirts, but other than that, it's not that bad once you clear it out. And so this is our second one, so get used to Shantytown because we will be coming back here. But because of it, it kind of puts into perspective kind of how short this game is. Like, that was one of the biggest things that surprised me when they decided to reboot Lara Croft. I assumed right from the get-go they would be significantly larger games. We're talking Angel of Darkness long. Because much of that game had problems. Angel of Darkness was a fucking juggernaut of a game. It was huge. Like, no wonder, like, adding a game of that scale. And when you keep in mind a lot of areas were cut from it because of the rush development, if they had had the time and fully fleshed it out, Angel of Darkness would have been fucking ridiculous. It would have definitely been more than 1 disc if it had actually been fully realised. But when you look at how big that game was, and it was in 2003, and it had cut content, then you come to this game, like, I can quite comfortably say we're past the halfway point already. Like, I don't see this taking 20 parts to finish. I really don't. Like, looking at what all the objectives that we got to go for before we get to the end, like, oh wow, it's made in China, huh? Like, looking at everything we've got onwards from here, like, this game is like surprisingly short. Like, it just caught me by surprise. It's not to say that shorter games can be are bad or anything, because there are some games that are amazing because of how short they are, because there's a lot of replayability with them. Like, my favourite Tomb Raiders, like the Legend trilogy, none of them are long games. Well, Underworld is a bit longer than the rest, but Legend and Anniversary, both of them are like, you can get them done in an afternoon. They're like 4 to 5 hours long. But I love them. But this game, I think it was just because of the reboot and the high budget and the extraness of everything. With all the other franchises doing big reboots that was really expanding and making these huge things, and Lara Croft in its past already having huge adventures, for this one to be kind of, I don't want to say muted, but just smaller than you'd reasonably expect, it caught me by surprise. especially because the sequels, Rise and Shadow, they do thankfully up the ante and get longer. So this one just, it feels like this awkward game that was just kind of testing the waters in a lot of way, and so wasn't very long. And looking at some of the concept art that I've unlocked so far in my spare time, like, I'll go through all the concept art in a bonus video once I've got everything. But some of the concept art, like, it shows me that this game had plans to be so much more, but either it just didn't come to be, or I think more likely someone in Square Enix shut it down. Because some of the ideas were really out there. Like, one of the concept arts highlight these monsters that are actively pursuing Lara at constant range and run at like the speed of like it's fast enough to catch up with a racing horse, like through the what the concept art show and whatnot. And they look proper horrific and something out of a survival horror, giving me the impression that they were going more of a survival horror route with it, which I would have been okay with, because horror has always been on and off in the blood of Tomb Raider. So having the Tomb Raider exploration, but more of the horror being more of the central focus, I would have been perfectly a-okay with. I think that could have been a really interesting thing, instead of just Survivor, What's a Tomb Raider, the video game, which is this. Like, it could have been a great little thing. But then there's another one that was just specifically Lara on horseback travelling through the forests, and I can kind of see why they drifted from that one, because Last of Us was about to make the rounds, and I think it would have been too similar. Like, I think they, like, the one where it's the horse going through the forest, I can imagine Crystal Dynamics internally eventually went, yeah, no, let's not do this. Whilst the one that's more survival horror and a lot more, it's like kind of actually quite scary in some parts of it, like, holy shit, this could have been really something special. I could imagine that was more Square Enix that turned it down and told them to do something else. Not because they would have thought it would have been not successful, but more so because they would have feared that it would have been too different from the norm for Tomb Raider. Even though I'd argue it probably would have been even more in line than what we actually got, if that's the case. I might be dead wrong, but it's just, I got a feeling that's the reason. But if that is the reason, that's a shame, because a more horror focused but still Tomb Raider-y grown up Lara, we could have had something, man. We could have had something pretty special with that we're never going to get to see, because let's be honest, classic Tomb Raider is never coming back, and it's the biggest shame of the of my life, is coming to the terms with the fact that not only is classic Tomb Raider never coming back, but the style of that game is probably never coming back. It's why I took to Twitter recently to just kind of share my thoughts and say that I really miss classic linear adventure games like the Tomb Raiders, where it wasn't about these big open worlds that lose a lot of the magic along the way. There were these controlled, really cleverly made puzzle-like environments that you had to navigate your way through, and there was loads of little secrets around corners if you paid attention, or reworked the puzzles in specific ways, or things like that. And the combat was fun, but it wasn't the main focus. It was just kind of there to help spice it up and keep you going, like when the tigers show up in Tomb Raider 1 and such. Or when that fucking T-Rex shows up in the forest.
I cannot deny what I have seen, and soon,
but it's just,
she is everywhere.
It depresses me, you know? I don't really know how to really control my thoughts with this, because it's live, it's not post where I can kind of just go away and think about it more. So you're kind of just getting it a bit more of a raw emotion on it, but I just want these games to come back. It's why another reason why I really want the Legend trilogy to either get remastered or for the PS5 to be backwards compatible with every platform. It's because I want to show off the Legend trilogy in the light that people kind of ignore them for. Because after the Angel of Darkness, people were very hesitant with Lara, which is a shame, because the next 3 games in the series were some of the greatest heights Lara's ever got and will ever get at this rate. And that's not the dog on the reboot. The reboot trilogy, and I've many times before, I enjoy them for what they are, but there's no denying that they're very different games. Like, there's nothing that annoys me more than when people try and compare. Like, I will say all the time that I prefer the Legend trilogy over this, but I'm not turning around and saying the Legend trilogy did this, whilst the reboot did this, and this, because I don't think it's like, well, I say, like, in gameplay you can, but in terms of the theming, no. They're trying to be very different games, and saying that objectively this one is better than the other is just wrong. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. because this is a survival game first, and it just has optional challenges with puzzles here and there, whilst Tomb Raider is an adventure game with no real care for survival. Like, they're very different beasts in how they work and how they want it to be. Plus, you can compare gameplay because you can do that with anything, but actually trying to objectively say that one's better than the other, no. It's why I stay away from a lot of forums surrounding Tomb Raider, because it's littered to the brim with way too much of that. And although in the comments of all of them there'll always be a lot of people that will say, well, you can't really make a comparison because they're very different, it doesn't stop those comparisons existing. Also, I think we just got hurt in a cutscene as we try and save. Why did I get that? I wasn't trying to. I was trying to see if I could set it on fire and I just didn't have the right arrow equipped. Well, I pressed the wrong button because R1 is the row power, R2 is normal shot. I want to get that dick up there because he's just going to keep on sounding the alarm and getting more people in. That's what those boxes are. Actually, I think they're one of the collectibles in this area is destroying all of them. Well, the challenge collectibles, destroying all the sound boxes so they can't call for backup, so you can be more safe because you won't know what's going on. You know, the amount of dynamite they're throwing, I'm going to see if I can try and shoot one out of their hand. There's a trophy for getting 2 people with 1 dynamite. There's also one for shooting it out of mid-air, but let's be honest, I'm not going to get that intentionally. I'd only get it by accident. Take that. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, ow! Oh, fuck, I got the trophy! As I was just saying it. I literally, the trophy just popped for shooting dynamite in the air. Whoops. That's why it blew up right in my face. I'm surprised it didn't kill Lara, to be honest. Maybe it's because I shot it that it kind of like mitigated some of the damage.
Lara, you're alive!
Hey!
Where are the others?
It's good to see you, man.
But I know where they are.
This cutscene's really tiny, so I'm just going to keep on talking over it.
Climb up there from here.
We need to get up there
Damn it.
to this
Kind of setup for hauling cargo.
really fake accent. Oh, I say that, I don't actually know if it's fake. It might be legit, it just sounds too fake. It sounds too forced. But we need to get our way up there to find the other survivor, because we haven't seen him in like forever. Actually, I don't think we've actually properly seen him since the opening cutscene where she was looking at the tape. I don't think we've actually bumped into him once. He's just been surviving on his own, the old bastard. But there's a lot of enemies we dealt with there, so feel free to clean up on your loot. Because we're essentially kind of done with our first visit to Shantytown. We've just got to get up and around to get to him. Oh yeah, if we go up here, because that up there with the big bridges and the 2 shrines, that's their main base. And once we've dealt with that area, like I said, once we've been through it, the Shantytown as a whole almost never has enemies. Like, there are a few, like when I eventually come back for collectibles, there are a couple, but there's not really that much at all. The reason why I looked down there a second ago is because I was kind of thinking about whether we need to go down there yet or whether that's much later, and I think that's much later. I don't think we bother about that until we need to. Oh, I got 2 people with that, sweet. Oh, hang on, get the arrows first. We don't have that many yet. Once we get all the upgrades to our inventory so we can carry the most we can, 40 arrows I think is the cap. Like, we'll be set. I'll be a bit more frivolous with it. But until then... Ow. I need to get the range shot. There's an upgrade for the shotgun that makes it so your pellet spread shrinks in, but it's an alternate fire, so you can do the wide shot skill if you want to. But if you press R1 instead, it will do a tighter spread. And you'll know when you've got it. Ow. Oh yeah, I should probably make that discussion point, and I'll talk about it in a sec though. When you know when you've got it, because it will show up on your reticle. You'll see it when you aim in the middle of the screen. You'll see a smaller circle in the middle. But I should really start talking about that. When you advance and act, at least by my definition of entering the second hub area, now in Shantytown, the difficulty does pick up a bit. The enemies are going to be a bit more aggressive, and you might die more often. Well, at least I feel like the AI gets more aggressive. They land their shots more often, and they can take you down a lot quicker, especially because they're going to be using machine weaponry more often now as well, which will put you down pretty damn quick, because machine weaponry is kind of overpowered in this whole trilogy. Oh, there's a secret tomb nearby. We're gonna have to detour and go get that then. Grim can wait. Oh, I wasn't expecting the game to let me make that jump, but alright, we're here. I think there's a second tomb in here as well, but I think we might have missed it. I think I've gone past it. I'll do some cleanup later on. Like, there's going to be 2 points off the top of my head where I can safely consider going back and go looking for stuff. Like, on the first one, I'll go back and get the hidden tomb in this area if I've missed it. Like, I'm pretty sure I have. I think it's like in the core of the shantytown. There's one to like the side somewhere. But then there's going to be another point where, if I do decide to do it, because I'm still pretty undecided, I'm going to go back and hunt down the rest of the collectibles, because there's a lot. But there's treasure maps you can find in each area. Some are tied to tombs. When you beat a tomb, you get treasure maps. Some of them you just find. And the treasure maps will tell you where every collectible is, except the challenge collectibles. But finding the challenge collectibles isn't too hard, because if I can't find them, honest to God, like, this game's been out for 7 years. I can track down a guide. Like, I don't even need a guide. I could just go to like them. I could just go on Google Images and search up the area, and it will just point where the collectibles are on the map. But I will make it an effort to hunt them all down. I don't know how much of it I will show if I decide to do it, because I haven't even decided to do it. It depends how worth it or how much I care. But I don't know. I don't know where I'm really going with this train of thought. But if I do decide to go with it, I don't know how much of it I'll record, because I don't know how interesting it will be. Like, you've seen the collectibles we found so far. It's like none of it means anything, and it's kind of a shame that it's like that. But it is just what it is. Alright, so this is a seesaw. That could probably be swung into something, but let's not worry about that straight away. There's a wall we need to climb in the back. I imagine we've got to lift the seesaw by burning all this stuff up. Is it just crap in them? There's nothing interesting. Then why have them there? Okay, we need to try and reach that. Oh, okay, we can reach that. Let's worry about this seesaw first. Would it stay put? Would it? No. Okay, so it is angled, so we need to find all of these. Can I just drop it in place? Do I have to? Okay, you can. Oh, that's gonna break. There we go. Add that to the collection. Oh, for fuck's sake, I forgot. You can't jump or do any kind of anything when you're holding these fucking things. Most annoying thing. Right. Yeah, that's nowhere near enough to reach that. We need more. We need at least one more. Yeah, that's not happening. Never mind. Alright, so we could probably swing this into something. We might be able to reach that. Can I just like bonk? That's a shame. Like, I wish they were the objects were more physical. Like, if I bonked it with an arrow, it would topple over. I don't think it doesn't want to let me climb any of this. We can't reach that easily. Oh, there's something destructible there. Okay. That's what that's for. There we go. And maybe this one will like might not lift it high enough there, but lift it high enough for the for us to get the fourth and final one. Oh, never mind. You can just. Then what's the point of that fourth one? Is it just a red herring? Is it just there to try and make you think you need to get that one? What's the? Never mind. I'm thinking about this way too much in a game that really didn't care about its optional tombs. I say that. They wanted to make something puzzle related. I think it's a bit too harsh for me to say that. It's just, for a game called Tomb Raider, and I'll even make it this point, for a game series called Tomb Raider, no matter what style you're going with, embrace its goddamn name. And this doesn't. It really doesn't feel like it does. These are so underwhelming, all of them. But at least we got a part for our handgun, I suppose. And we get a nice little exit path going across this top bit and then through the pipe. I think that's a nice little way of shortcutting out of there. Even though it really didn't need one, because that drop definitely wouldn't have killed us. Now we have to go back through this same old loading screen. Yay. But on the plus side, you'll know before I even have to say it if I do decide to go for all the collectibles, because there'll be a point where I'll go to a camp and everything will just be either unlocked or I'll just have a lot of experience points and everything. But I can imagine it'll be the latter, because I don't really want to buy skills or unlock things without showing it on film, on recording. It's more so just because I don't want you, like, if anyone's following along, which if you're doing so, I don't know why. This game, you don't really need to, just kind of enjoy it at your own pace and just see what happens. But if you are following it along, I wouldn't want it to be in a position where I'm suddenly doing something and you're like, well, hang on a minute, how is he doing that? Oh, I'll get you, save me having to hunt it down later. I think that's the only collectible that I'm a bit like, ugh, about having to try and get, is the GPS caches. Because they're tiny, it's just a sparkle you're looking for, and there's loads of them. But we'll see how it goes, eh? Like I said, there's no guarantee I'll do it, it entirely depends on my mood when I get there. I don't remember this bit over here, so I'm going to quickly check it out. I think I don't remember it because it doesn't have any significance to anything, other than another GPS, so I'll take it because it's there. I'll open these. Sweet. Yeah, I think it's just because it's just a collectible in a box to open. I don't think this actually really has anything to do with anything. Oh well, I saw it in the corner of my eye and I was like, I don't remember that bit at all. I just had to go investigate. Curiosity overcame me. So remember this, the moving boxes, because you got to hop on it and take it over so you can get to Grim, to make sure he's doing alright. I don't think there's any enemies here, so I think we're safe to just get it. What's that? Oh, another GPS. The more of these I get now, the less I have to worry about them later. And thankfully, each one you actually get does get marked on the map as you've gotten this one. So you don't have to worry about getting them out of order, and then if you follow a walkthrough or something, going back to one you've already got. And then being like, and then just looking around endlessly, not knowing that you've actually got it. The game will just tell you. But this is it essentially. We found this box and we just wait for it to get over to where Grim is.
Are you there?
Was it the person that we really don't really have a reason to care about, because we saw him in one of the film scenes when like Lara was watching one of the film recordings on the camcorder, and that's it. This is the only other time we've seen him since.
Grim!
And so now he's in danger. It's like, oh no, we're supposed to care about Grim? Even with his accent? But I guess I should actually talk about the combat we're actually in. To give you like fair warning, this is probably one of the more dangerous ones if you're a bit haphazard, because there's explosive barrels on your side of this as well, on your side of the split. See? And if you're too close to them, the enemies have terrible accuracy. They're not smart enough to actually shoot the barrel, but their accuracy is bad enough that they will probably hit it if you're next to it eventually. And it is just not worth that risk. He tried to dodge, did you see it? You know, he tried to dodge out the way and he just went straight into the bullets. Okay, any more of them want to take the... Ow! Want to take the rope? Where is that guy? Take that. Got him. Ow. I'm not the most accurate. I'm sorry. I'm missing so many shots. I'm wasting so much ammo. I'll get better as this goes on. I just need time. I'm already doing better than how I started. Fucking dear. Is that close enough? No, it wasn't. Damn. Ow, 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 ow. Fuck. Ow, shit. Christ. Did you see? Go away! You just peppered me. Like, Lara should be dead, let's be honest here. Any kind of realism, Lara would be absolutely dead. That was like 20 bullets into her neck she just took. Ow. So now this is dangerous. Well, I'm right next to the barrel. One of their stray shots could easily set that explosive off, so I'm going to move away as these guys take the rope. I was hoping to catch that guy, but I shot too soon on the first bullet. Anyone else want to take the plunge? Huh? I'm ready for you. I can do it. Anyone else want to jump the rope? Yeah, do you? Do you? Yeah, take that. I think that's all of them. So now Grim, this super important character that we've only known for literally one cutscene, is going to have a very important moment.
Drop your weapons, or we kill your friend.
Don't fucking do it!
Okay! Okay!
That's nothing, pal. I grew up in Glasgow.
Now kick them off the edge.
Alright, and that's our first... I think that, yeah, it is our first death of our crew.
I'll make them pay.
Poor Grim, the old bastard.
The palace.
Good old... coming from good old Glasgow. That line made me chuckle. Knowing how dangerous Glasgow actually can be. Just hearing him going, it is nothing, I grew up in Glasgow. And it was just like, fucking hell, man. Jesus, man, you've survived the wars. But I think that is something that I will credit this game. The writing in this game is actually pretty good. At least I think so. Maybe it's just because there's a few jokes at, like, the UK, because it's a British studio. And so they have, well no, I say it, Crystal Dynamics is an American studio, but because it's based on British characters, they spent a lot of time with it and helped build it up properly to be legit. Like, you could believe all these people are British. And some of the little jokes and humour just squeezed in, like fucking growing up in Glasgow. It just is apt. It's very apt. But as one goes away, one comes in. Another member of our crew is going to save our neck. And it's the actual character that you can justify caring about because he's actually been around for more time. It's Roth. The old boy that we've helped out before. Like, you know, we scratched his back, he scratched ours. And the guy who's been mentoring us and giving us some advice. He did actually come along even after we decided to help.
Yeah.
Grim's dead.
They tried to use him as leverage to make me surrender, but he wouldn't let them.
Grim, you stubborn bastard.
I'm so sorry, Roth.
No, don't be sorry, Laura. Just make it count. We'll raise a glass to the old man when we get out of here.
I'm going to try and get closer.
Can you cover me again?
Yeah. I've got a clear sight with my rifle until the palace wall.
Okay.
Roth's cover that he'll give you for this is actually pretty sweet. Like, not gonna lie, it's actually pretty badass. The way it works in this area, and we'll explore it more next part since we're about to wrap up. The way it works is if shit kicks off, he will take them out in one shot, regardless of where he hits on their body.
That's great news.
And he's pretty consistent as well. If you just hide, he will eventually take everyone out. But if you play it stealthy, he will only take out people that won't alert someone else. Which means either strategy you go for, he is a great asset. But that being said, we've got some skill points and scavenge to use, or salvage even, not scavenge. So we're going to upgrade a bit more, get some more dodge kills so we can actually time it and hurt people more. See what we can upgrade, since we get in places with it. Oh, we need to get our shotgun to silver at least. The fact that it's still on bronze is like hurting my soul a little here. Yeah, padded grip, make it a bit easier to use. I think that's about it. We've still got some more, but... on the pistol's bronze as well? God, I didn't realise that. But either way, next time on Tomb Raider 2013, we'll be rescuing Sam and the rest of the gang from the palace. So until then, you guys take care now.